From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite and Eric Severide in Washington, Tom Fenton in Jerusalem, John Sheehan in Cairo, Bob Simon in Suez, Dean Braylis in Damascus, in Washington, Daniel Shore, Dan Rather, Fred Graham, Bruce Morton, Roger Mudd, and Marvin Kell.
Good evening. Former Special Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox told the Senate Judiciary Committee today that he may have been, inadvertently, the leak of a news story about the ITT case. And the White House immediately seized on this as an example of why Cox was fired. The story was a New York Times report that former Deputy Attorney General Richard Kleindienst had told Cox that the president once ordered him not to press some ITT antitrust actions. Daniel Shore and Dan Rather have the details.
In his second day of testimony, Cox said that White House roadblocks to his investigation represented a new cover-up. But that was overshadowed by his unexpected statement that he may have been the source of the leak on President Nixon's order to Kleindienst to hold up on action against the ITT. Cox said he disclosed Kleindienst's admission last week to Senators Kennedy and Hart and to a staffer of each one.
But of course, I shouldn't have done it. It was carelessness, not malice, and I'm afraid I've hurt former Attorney General Kleindienst, and I feel very badly about it.
Republican leader Scott charged that an innuendo a day was being leaked to damage President Nixon and said he plans to question Cox's former staff under oath. Both Senator Hart, home sick today, and Senator Kennedy denied they or their staffers had leaked the story. But Kennedy also said Cox had told of the Nixon-Kleindienst conversation as an example of how the Judiciary Committee had been lied to. What Cox was investigating was conflicts in testimony by Kleindienst, Mitchell, and others about intervention in the ITT settlement. Kleindienst's belated revelation of a call from Mr. Nixon conflicted with his testimony at his confirmation hearing. Like this answer to Senator Kennedy: I was not interfered with by anybody at the White House. I was not importuned. I was not pressured. I was not directed. I did not have conferences with respect to what I should or should not do. Later, if anybody did it, it would have had a sharp impact on my mind because I believe I know I would have responded. No such conversation occurred. At his home today, questioned by Connie Chung, Kleindienst would not talk about his admission to Cox.
I'm sorry, I just am not in a position to comment in any way with respect to any aspect of this matter.
Mr. Kleindienst, did you ever talk to President Nixon in relationship?
I just can't comment about any aspect of this thing at this time. Thank you very much.
The anti-Nixon forces are trying to make the issue a new White House cover-up. The pro-Nixon forces are trying to shift the issue to leaks and innuendos against the president. This investigation appears to be expanding, and as one member said, here we go again for the next few weeks. Daniel Shore, CBS News, at the Senate Judiciary Committee in Washington.
The White House says the president did once order Kleindienst not to appeal an important part of the ITT case. Furthermore, says Deputy White House News Secretary Gerald Warren, Mr. Nixon, quote, had every right as President of the United States to discuss antitrust policy with the Justice Department. And Warren went on to say the president had every right to have the conversation be kept secret. And the fact that Watergate prosecutor Archibald Cox made the story known illustrates, Warren claims, Cox's outright partisanship. Warren also renewed the president's attack on the news media, saying that reporting of the ITT controversy is a classic example of the American people being given the wrong perception. He accused reporters of creating, quote, a false impression in the mind of the public. Dan Rather, CBS News, the White House.
Under questioning about the